Morning, everyone, and good afternoon to everyone on the East Coast. It's a great pleasure to be with you guys. Really enjoy these events, Maple events, and hoping that we can get back to live events in September. Rob, if you want to advance to the next slide. So once again, my name is Bill Klages. I manage our partner and alliance relationships, and I head our U.S. Western region business. Gabby's joining today. She's based in New York. She's going to share some really unique insights on ways to bring real diversity advancement into your organizations. Despite the compromises that our businesses have faced with the COVID pandemic over the past 14 months, QAC's actually had a great year. This is highlighted by some investments that we've made and some very exciting quality and automation solutions in emerging technologies. I just wanted to say that we're very proud to continue our relationship with the Maple Business Council. We're in our second year. We're enjoying a lot of benefits, and especially sharing with other members and forming business partnerships with other members like Exahive, a cybersecurity communication specialist. We also work with another Maple member, Olena, the CEO of Art One Translations, where she joined Sam and my colleague Gabby for a diversity webinar back in March of this year. And as I said, we're all very excited to hopefully get back to face-to-face events in the fall. Next slide, Rob. For the newer members who may not know QA Consultants, we're a 26-year-old specialty provider of software testing services, and we're based in Toronto. We were the very first North American boutique software testing provider, and we deliver our services largely from our testing center of excellence, or what we like to call our test factory, that's located in Toronto. Our U.S. business is headquartered in Dallas, Texas, and we provide all of our testing services onshore, and we work with our clients to automate as much of their testing as possible to streamline their cost of quality and accelerate releases of software applications and products to the market, or increasing their ROI on quality. In a moment, I'm going to cover some really cool stuff that we've been doing in the emerging technology space, such as designing test automation accelerators to test the cognitive software that drives autonomous vehicles and robots. We work closely with several Canadian government agencies and research institutions, such as the Automotive Center of Excellence's Climatic Wind Tunnel, the most sophisticated wind tunnel in the world, where we operate our software test bay for automotive systems integration testing. Next slide, please. This next slide is quite detailed. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's really meant as more of a cheat sheet that summarizes the types of software testing services that QA Consultants provides. On the left side, you see our traditional software testing offerings, where we provide quality assurance across many types of platforms and digital applications. We service most sectors, but have really deep domain knowledge in banking, insurance, retail, automotive, and digital media. On the right side, this reflects what I consider the really cool stuff that we do and what differentiates QA Consultants. We'll touch on a few of these items, starting with our work in model-based testing and the test automation capability that we can bring to a variety of markets, including insurance and automotive. Then we have our XCOG, Accelerated Test Automation Solution, which was recently featured in a Forrester research publication discussing the need for testing in AI. I think some of you may have attended our webinar last week that featured a demo of that solution. And I'll spend a few moments on the importance of accessibility compliance testing for your user applications. And then Gabby will round things out with a discussion on smarter ways to integrate diversity into the business. Next slide, please. So I'd like to share with you some of the highlights of the differentiating work that QA Consultants is doing in the deep technology areas like AI and autonomous vehicles. We have a long history of collaborating with Canadian research and innovation partners like the National Research Council, Ontario Tech University, and their ACE Wind Tunnel. Our expertise is software quality, and in the past, we're primarily focused on the quality of enterprise software and various business software applications. Now, more complex software is affecting virtually every part of our lives, from the gadgets in our homes to the automobiles that we drive, and quite realistically, the robots that will be attending to a variety of our needs in the very near future. This requires an attention to quality like never before. Human safety and the security of our assets relies on very complex software that drives autonomous vehicles or runs our building infrastructures or flies the drones that are soon to pass overhead. The complexity of that software, the thousands or even hundreds of thousands of decisions that AI must make to safely operate a vehicle must be tested thoroughly. This testing would be cost prohibitive to do manually, let alone the continuing iterations that are required as new software releases and new models of vehicles are coming to the market. QA Consultants is addressing the need with our test automation accelerators that not only save significant cost and effort, but can be deployed earlier in the build cycle to find and fix potentially expensive defects. We employ simulation and model-based testing practices to bring these automated solutions to the market. When we talk about model-based testing, what this really means is modeling the features or functionality of a system, or essentially digitally replicating that system with a combination of simulation and injectors that mirror how that product or system will perform. Two benefits of the testing methodology are that we can test expensive robots and equipment virtually so as not to physically damage the product in test. And secondly, it allows for the ability to run complex testing much earlier in the build cycle to catch defects and make corrections well before production. And as you see on the slide here, two solutions that we're very proud of that use these testing advancements are our systems integration testing, or what we call SIT. This solution is for the multitude of complex components found in today's automobiles. And then our other solution that I mentioned earlier, our XCOG Test Automation Accelerator, is for testing the cognitive AI systems that move autonomous vehicles and robots. Next slide, please. So I'm going to switch gears here because I think this is a topic that may apply to many of you on the call today. I wanted to spend a few minutes on the topic of accessibility and the importance of compliance for businesses of all types and sizes. QAC considers this part of our inclusion initiatives, so this is a nice transition over to Gabby's discussion in a few moments. So what is accessibility as it relates to digital applications? When I say digital applications, I'm talking about websites and mobile apps. Well, if you are farsighted like me, but you don't wear contacts or don't always carry your glasses, ordering an Uber or a Lyft and trying to read the license plate number or view the color of the vehicle on the app screen, it can be nearly impossible. For me personally, that's an accessibility issue. But for those people with much more severe sight disabilities, imagine the difficulty in simply reading these apps on small devices or maneuvering on a website that is not well designed. How might that affect user abandonment, resulting in poor service or a lost sale? And here's some key thoughts. Do you know if your website or mobile application is compliant with the various local and international standards for providing accessibility? Does your e-commerce platform cater effectively to the population segment of 65 years or older? And how do you know if your digital assets meet these requirements? A few weeks ago on May 20th, we recognized Global Accessibility Awareness Day. It was a time to emphasize digital access and inclusion for people with disabilities in the ongoing global digital transformation. There are a number of standards and guidelines in Canada and the US, as well as internationally, to help organizations make their user interfaces and websites accessible to people with various disabilities. So why is that important to you? Well, it really comes down to your customers and clients or prospective users. How do you know if your customers with disabilities are abandoning your website? Will they tell their friends if they've had a bad experience? Well, of course they will. Customers and clients over the age of 65 are making up an increasing percentage of your business. And by all statistical accounts, this will continue through the year 2040. So how do you know if you're compliant? Well, you don't want to find out from a potential customer or an existing client. The best way to get there is by having professionals with the expertise on the various country standards to test your websites and mobile apps on a periodic basis. But more importantly, recommend the improvements needed to bring your site into compliance. This is an investment that'll make your business better. And as I finish up on the last slide, please reach out to me if you or anyone in your network is looking for accessibility advisory or may need these testing services. Again, if you're selling or servicing the North American market, your customer-facing digital platforms should be in compliance with both international and local requirements. The bottom line is that with an aging population, it's just good business to frequently audit and test all of your user interfaces. Down below on this slide, you'll see a link to the QAC site that provides additional details on the compliance requirements for both the Canada and US, as well as types of services that we provide in this area. So I want to thank the Maple folks again today. Rob and Stephen, thank you so much for a great event, and thank everyone for your time today.